This is the Fox 13 News at Noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Linda Hurtado. Thanks so much for joining us. More than 100 children have been rescued around the state as part of a federal marshals-led coalition of law enforcement to find missing or endangered children. They call it Home for the Holidays. And here to tell us more about the rescue is Fox 13's Evan Axelbank, live at the FDLE Tampa office. What can you tell us, Evan?
Well, these are kids who were in the clutches of those who wanted the worst for them: predators, abusers, and other violent suspects. Six arrests were made as part of this operation. 47% of the kids rescued were from the Tampa Bay area. That is 57 of the 122 kids who were rescued. They were rescued over the last several weeks as marshals steered intelligence to state and local agencies to find where these missing and endangered kids were. The children ranged in age from 23 months to 17 years old. DCF's secretary says running these operations is about figuring out what these kids are going to need once they're rescued.
We touched upon the state agencies that are wrapping around to support and preserve childhoods. We also touched upon the local not-for-profits, the faith-based entities. It's everyone coming together to make sure that it's very person-centered, that recovery journey, whatever that may be, whether it's behavioral health, whether that is helping through education. It's a myriad based on that individual being very person-centered to help support them in their journey.
Many of the children recovered were already receiving services from state agencies like DCF, the Department of Juvenile Justice, and other health agencies. One of the children was a pregnant female, another was a toddler who was located in Mexico, and two brothers are now getting care for their substance abuse issues. The state believes this is one of the largest sweeps of its kind in state history, with 122 kids now back in safe hands.
Wow, Evan, that's really incredible to think there were 122 kids out there that needed rescuing. All right, Evan Axelbank reporting live for us. Thank you. Well, the Florida Highway Patrol needs help identifying the driver responsible for a deadly hit and run last week in Brandon. Troopers are now showing us surveillance video of that incident. They say on Tuesday night, a semi-truck hit a 49-year-old bicyclist from Brandon, and he was trying to cross 41 just south of 24th Avenue. About 30 seconds later, while the truck driver was trying to help the bicyclist, the man was hit a second time, this time by a pickup truck, and that truck kept on going. The bicyclist died at the scene, and troopers are now looking for the driver of a dark-colored pickup. Again, this happened Tuesday night just before 7 o'clock, and anyone with information should contact FHP. Good news if you've got a flight sometime soon. The Federal Aviation Administration has officially lifted its order to slash flights. That means those mandatory cancellations are now a thing of the past. Fox 13's Kelly Cowan took a look at how things at Tampa International Airport were going this morning.
The arrival and departure boards here at Tampa International are looking completely normal, and in fact things were running smoothly all weekend long here. Airlines were officially given the green light from the FAA to end the mandatory flight cuts imposed to try to reduce air traffic while controller staff shortages caused by the shutdown continued. With the end of the shutdown on Friday, the Department of Transportation began to cut back on its cutback orders. But some airlines seem to have taken things a step further. According to the flight tracking website, FlightAware, the total number of canceled flights across the U.S. on Sunday before the government lifted its cancellation order was 162. That is well below the 3% flight cut mandate that was in place. Tampa International had a handful of cancellations over the weekend, but with bad weather also affecting travel in other parts of the country last week, it's unclear what exactly caused the canceled flights. But passengers here at TPA this morning tell us that things have looked really good.
I really wasn't affected by it at all. I had a clean, straight-through transaction. Getting down here didn't have any issues. Coming back doesn't seem like I'm going to have any issues, I hope. But on the other hand, my girlfriend had problems coming back from Chicago. Her flight got moved 6 hours just last week.
As of Sunday night, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said air traffic control staffing levels are back to where they began before the shutdown began, and that cancellations were no longer needed in order to keep airways safe. Industry experts are expecting that things will bounce back very quickly, well before the busy Thanksgiving travel period officially begins. At Tampa International, Kelly Cowan reporting.
Thanksgiving is next week. Can you believe it? And AAA is predicting a record number of Floridians will travel at least 50 miles from home. They think about 4.6 million Floridians will be heading out of town for the holiday. That's a 2.6% increase over last year. About 4.2 million folks are hitting the roads. Just under 300,000 will be taking to the skies. And when it comes to the other forms of transportation, just under 88,000 will be going on cruises or taking trains and buses. As we just mentioned, the holiday season is here, and with all the decorations, the feasts, and guests that you'll be having over, you're going to have a lot of trash to deal with. So how do you get rid of it and recycle it correctly? Fox 13's Regina Gonzalez brings us to the South County solid waste plant and shows us.
Hi everyone, Regina Gonzalez joining you from one of Hillsborough County's solid waste facilities in Gibsonton today, because we obviously have the holidays coming up. That means saran wrapping turkeys, throwing out paper plates, throwing out wrapping paper. So which bin does it go in? Well, we've got two experts and mythbusters here, Angela and Danny, to talk about everything when it comes to just generic recycling and then those holiday items. So Danny, with Thanksgiving just around the corner, literally next week, we'll start with you because we won't talk about the argument on whether you should decorate or not, but a lot of people have decorated. Talk to me about what people need to know as far as the holidays go.
Yeah, if you got decorations you're pulling down from the attic or garage and you feel like they don't work or they're not for you this year, do not put them in the recycling bin. You can donate them, resell them, repurpose them, or throw them right in the trash. If you got holiday string lights like my family does right after the day of Thanksgiving, we put them all up. If one of those bulbs doesn't work and you're going to toss these, do not put these in the recycling bin either. You're going to want to trash these or bring them to a scrap metal recycler like where we are today at Solid Waste. If you have any electronics you're buying new and you're getting rid of old ones like TVs, laptops, Kindles, all that, make sure you drop them off at a electronics recycling store. A lot of the stores where you buy them, they take them back, or Hillsborough County, we accept them. All these contain batteries. These batteries cannot go in the trash. Lithium-ion, lithium batteries need to safely be disposed at a drop-off location. Alkaline batteries that you put in like your TV remotes or flashlights, those can safely go in the trash.
Now, I see wrapping paper, and I want to address a myth with that, because obviously wrapping paper is paper, but then you've got something like this that's extra shiny. So what do people need to know about that?
Good question. So if it feels like paper, tears like paper, generally it's recyclable. If it's metallic, foily, full of gloss and glitter and ribbons and bows and glue, you're going to want to put it in the trash. You can go the more sustainable route by having a reusable gift bag, which is a gift in itself, or like this not wrap bag, where you can actually put the gift in it, and then this can be used as a bandana or a scarf or whatever, and that becomes a gift too.
That's awesome. Angela, my friend, when it comes to just, people drinking iced tea, you've got a lot of more meals happening around this time of year. Generic recycling, what do we want in the recycling bin?
Very good question. In Hillsborough County, we want all of your aluminum cans, your glass bottles, jars, your paperboard products, flattened cardboard boxes. For plastics, we want to focus on plastic bottles and jugs. Anything that's going to go in your recycling bin needs to be clean, dry, empty, and loose. And we know there's a lot of holiday rules, so if you have any questions about your local program, or you can always check out hcfl.gov/recycling guide for our Hillsborough County program, or you can visit tampabayrecycles.org for all of your regional recycling rules.
And speaking of recyclables, if you live in Hillsborough County and you're in the 3rd to the 12th grade and you have a beautiful picture like the one shown on this truck here behind us, you can enter in a contest and it could be shown on a truck next year. You're actually looking at the one from last year. Just be sure to do that at hcfl.gov/art contest. For now, reporting in Gibsonton, I'm Regina Gonzalez for Fox 13 News.
So are you ready for the holidays? Have you started decorating? Well, up next, we're heading to the Central Florida Zoo in Sanford, where the holidays are taking an Asian flair. We've got a look at an amazing holiday lighted lantern show. And Jim is here to tell us what we can expect for this work week.
Yeah, I mean, we had that beautiful weekend with the cool temperatures in the morning, warm in the afternoon. We were cool this morning, but it didn't last all that long. This morning, we were 62 degrees, some 50s just to our north, and these temperatures, they've been warming up quickly, already sitting at 79 degrees. Now we're just looking for that next significant cold front to work its way through and maybe bring us some cooler temperatures. Do we have any of those heading in our direction? Well, we'll talk about that coming up.
If you're looking for a unique way to light up the holidays, it's worth a drive to head to the Central Florida Zoo in Sanford. The zoo's annual Asian Lantern Festival kicked off over the weekend, and Fox's Lauren Margolis went on a tour.
What do a whale, dragon, and butterfly have in common? They're all featured at this year's Asian Lantern Festival at the Central Florida Zoo and Botanical Gardens.
The trucks arrived about a month ago. 22, I think, tractor-trailer loads of materials, steel rods, fabric, all the mechanisms that make this stuff move. It takes probably a week to just unload the trucks.
And it takes about a month to install the different scenes. This is the zoo's 6th year partnering with the China-based company Tianyu to bring these creations to life.
This is a very unique event. The combination of the various themes and the sheer size of these lanterns is so impressive, you know, and the artistry it's just beautiful.
More than 100,000 people come to walk along the nearly 1 mile long pathway, which happens to be Central Florida's largest holiday light display outside of the major theme parks.
A lot of the pieces are interactive, and we're about to approach one here. Some things you step on to trigger the lantern, and we'll do that here.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
This is so
that's
cool.
What, yeah,
oh, and it has smoke.
It triggers it to move and to blow smoke. And the music is part of it too. That's also part of the interactive.
This is awesome.
Yeah, so really fun. It's not just something static you're looking at. You know, you can actually engage with it.
Event organizers say this is one of the more popular photo ops, so you know how to take advantage and get my photo taken before all those crowds form. The festival is made up of more than 50 large-scale lantern installations and over 1,000 individual lantern pieces, all handmade by Chinese artists. Each lantern is made from steel that is bent and welded together to create the different shapes and then covered with a fabric material. And you can't forget the lights. Do you have a favorite piece in here?
I do, actually. You know, we have a Kwanzaa display towards the end of the trail that is these trees that they move, and the light just moves through them in a really beautiful way.
It's a great honor to bring the Chinese traditional lanterns to be here. Yeah, the lanterns are more than just a light, but also the cultural exchange. So we want the people feeling inspired and connected to the world and art.
The festival runs through mid-January. You can reserve your tickets on centralfloridazoo.org and come out here and enjoy this beautiful light display in Sanford. Lauren Margolis, Fox News.
That's beautiful. Can you imagine how many pictures you'd have on Instagram if you go there?
A lot.
A lot.
Definitely. That's what everybody will be doing there.
Yeah. And the weather's good, right?
Yeah, weather's good. You know, we had that little cool stretch where we got us into that holiday mood. Now that we're getting closer to the holidays, we're warming right back up. Just can't get it right. You look outside right now and it looks beautiful, but it is definitely warming up. The other thing you're probably noticing is it's starting to feel maybe a little more humid as well. Partly cloudy skies over downtown Tampa and the Sarasota, but along the beaches and the coastline, you're seeing mostly sunny skies. A beautiful day in those spots. Woke up this morning, a little fog in some areas, and that will tend to be an issue over the next several mornings with some of that fog as well. But here you see those cooler temperatures last week. Then we started to warm the temperatures up. Yesterday, we're above average at 81 degrees, but we've had a big issue with the rain. We ended the rainy season on a dry note, and so far this month, look at that, we've had one day of rain, and it really wasn't all that much, only 0.07 of an inch of rain. Certainly not enough to really help things, and you're seeing more and more areas, especially along the western side of the state, now into that moderate drought. And it's really worrisome just because as we're now going through the drier months, and we're still at the beginning of our dry season, this is going to become more and more of an issue. We are already running about 8¼ inches behind average just for the year. So satellite view, it's a beautiful looking day. You see all the clear skies up across the northern part of the state. You see a bit of a clearing line. That's because we actually have a front which is pushing down the state. Now, this front is not bringing any cooler temperatures. It's pretty much in name only. It's going to push a little bit further to the south and just tend to wash out as we go through the next day or so. So 79 right now here in Tampa. Lakeland, you're at 77 degrees. Winter Haven, 78 down to our south into Sarasota, 79 degrees. Mid to upper 70s down across the southern end of the state. And then we have the mid 70s up across the northern part of the state. And still some drier air. That's because of that front to the north. It helped to bring down some drier air. So nice and comfortable up in Tallahassee with that dew point of 35. But notice it's 35 in Tallahassee. Then you have the upper 60s near 70 in Central Florida. That is that more humid air that is now working its way over us, and that's going to stick around over the next several days. Over the past 48 hours, you can see that uptick in the moisture, and with that front washing out just to our north, it's not going to really filter in any of that dry air over us. There's the front right now. High pressure out over the Gulf. That's really what gave us a nice looking weekend. It's cleared everything out across the east, but they still have a lot of the clouds and the snow showers, a lot of lake effect snow up across the northeast. And then as you head out west, it has been a busy weekend across California with storm system after system working its way onshore. You see all the rain. Places like Los Angeles, just to the north of there, have picked up between about 2 to 7 inches of rain. That's the type of rain that they would normally pick up in about 3 to 4 months. And they picked that up over the weekend. And then as you get into the higher elevations, it is all snow. Here's a live view. This is Yosemite, and you see the snow is still coming down. And so that will continue to pile up as we go through the next day or so in those locations. So there's that front to our north. That washes out. That basically means we stay the same. More of that fog in the morning hours. Then other than that, daytime highs there in the low to mid 80s as we head through the rest of the week. No signs of any significant fronts heading in our direction. 83 for today, that warm afternoon. 7-day forecast. Temperatures stay in the mid 80s as we head through the week, and no signs of any rain as well as we go through the next week. Linda.
All right, Jim, thank you. Best-selling author Vanessa Lillie is out with a new thriller, this one dealing with the issue of missing and murdered Indigenous women. We'll talk to her about The Bone Thief next in our Fox Local Book Club. Vanessa Lillie is a USA Today best-selling author of Blood Sisters, a new series centered on the stories of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. The sequel, The Bone Thief, released October 28th. Vanessa's on book tour, and she's joining me now on the Fox Local Book Club. Nice to have you with us, Vanessa.
Hi, Linda. Thanks for having me. It's so exciting to be here.
So tell us about The Bone Thief and your main character, who is an archaeologist, which is kind of unusual.
That is. So Sid Walker is an archaeologist for the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and she's called to a wealthy kids camp when some remains are found tied to a real historical event in Rhode Island, where I live.
We lost her.
All right, we seem to have lost Vanessa, so we'll try to get her back, and we'll be right back after this. Okay, she's back. Go ahead, Vanessa, continue.
Missing Narragansett teenage girl, and that's when the thrillers and the page turning really begins.
So I know the discovery of native remains and how they're treated are really relevant for archaeologists and scholars today. What do you want your readers to learn about the Indigenous community in this series?
We're having a big conversation right now about not only returning Indigenous remains and funerary objects, but even around the world. I don't know if you saw that Egypt just opened a new museum, and the country's asking for objects to be returned to them. And I think we're wondering, why are certain things in museums? Why are certain things in our academic institutions? So The Bone Thief actually is, I think, playing into this larger conversation about why we have what we have in our museums today.
There's also a secret society. So how did you come up with this particular group, and do they mirror someone from the past or a group from the past?
Yeah, so they're called the Founders Society. And I thought, I moved from Oklahoma to New England, and I learned a lot about colonial America, and I wanted to explore, what does modern colonialism look like? So the Founders Societies tied all the way back to those original Mayflower folks. And I asked questions about, what is modern colonialism? And of course, there are certain, groups and organizations that have ties like that. But for the most part, I made them up because I wanted to really explore these questions. But everybody loves a secret society.
Right. How much research do you have to do, especially when it's, loosely tied on real events in history?
Yes, so I love research. It's a real creative engine for me. And so I looked at great books like Our Beloved Kin by Lisa Brooks, who's a historian. I looked at a lot of real life interviews. The tribe that's focused on in The Bone Thief is the Narragansett tribe. And that's one of the first tribes that saw the boats come over. So there's a lot of analysis and sharing, not only among researchers, but also researchers in the actual Narragansett tribe. There's a tribal museum here. So I really dove into the research because as a reader, I love that experience of learning history, while I'm in the middle of a page turner.
So The Bone Thief is also a thriller with lots of twists and turns. And how do you capture that, thriller audience while also staying true to historical content?
Well, it's a lot of rewriting. I let myself go pretty deep in the history. And then the revision process for me is the most important question, which is, how can I make this more interesting? How can I make the pages turn? So sometimes you got to add a motorcycle chase or something like that. But it's a lot of fun. Right, to think about the reader, and I know so you think about how can I keep them entertained, but also share really relevant history that I think they're going to be just as intrigued about as I am.
So we have about 20 seconds left, but I also want to share with our viewers that you guys, you are writing in a series called Young Rich Widows, very different with the team, and it's audio. So tell us about that.
Yes, the latest Wicked Wanted Widows just came out, and it's a co-author project. It's 80s Providence, Rhode Island. It's campy fun, and I love collaborating with other authors. We are constantly laughing while we're writing, which is not always the experience when you're writing on your own. So it's a really fun project. The third just came out, and we're actually starting on the 4th in the new year.
Oh my goodness, who doesn't love the 80s? I just love that. Vanessa, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. This is great.
I'll post this interview on my Fox 13 social media, and I'll also let you know how you can follow Vanessa there. Look for Fox 13's Linda Hurtado and like the page. Much more to come in our next half hour. The U.S. military presence in the Caribbean ramps up as President Trump says he's open to talks with Venezuela's leader. And a so-called atmospheric river bringing deadly flooding to parts of California. And the worst isn't over.
watching the Fox 13 News at noon.
As the U.S. military ramps up its pressure on Venezuela to stop drug trafficking, President Donald Trump is considering holding talks with the country's authoritarian leader. Fox's Rebecca Castor has more details from Washington.
Peace, peace, peace. Imagine us people.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro invoking the words of John Lennon to try and lower tensions with the U.S. as President Trump's war on drug trafficking pushes on.
We may be having some discussions with Maduro, and we'll see how that turns out.
This potential for diplomacy comes after the U.S. military destroyed another alleged drug boat over the weekend, bringing the total to 21 strikes. And now its most advanced aircraft carrier is on standby in the Caribbean Sea, along with 15,000 troops as part of Operation Southern Spear.
Bottom line again here, we are going to stop the flow of deadly drugs into our country. We're going to secure our border. We are going to protect the American people.
In another show of force, the U.S. military is conducting joint military exercises with Trinidad and Tobago this week, just off the coast of Venezuela. And the State Department recently designated another cartel as a foreign terrorist organization, one that Washington claims Maduro is running himself.
But what they're doing is demonstrating our resolve, strong resolve, to stop the flow of drugs into this country.
But some lawmakers think the president is being overly forceful.
I think Donald Trump could make a decision that is not very well thought out that could drag us into a conflict with Venezuela.
President Trump's indicated he's made up his mind on whether to take military action inside Venezuela. He's not sharing those details publicly, but says he will keep Congress involved. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Poland's prime minister is calling a railway explosion near the Polish capital an act of sabotage. The rail line near Warsaw was blown up on Sunday. A conductor noticed damage to the track and stopped all traffic before anyone was hurt. The prime minister says the line is crucially important for delivering aid to Ukraine, and while Russia is suspected of being behind some acts of sabotage and espionage in Poland, authorities are asking people not to jump to any conclusions about who is behind this rail attack. President Trump is reversing course, now urging House Republicans to release the Epstein files. A vote is expected tomorrow. On Truth Social, the president calling the issue a Democratic hoax and said Republicans have nothing to hide. The announcement comes amid mounting pressure from several Republican lawmakers to release those files, along with support from House Democrats. Last week, Democrats released selected emails suggesting, they say, that Trump was aware of Epstein's trafficking of girls. A bill to release the files is expected to have enough votes in the House to pass, but it remains unclear if it can get through the Senate. A powerful atmospheric river brings flooding to California over the weekend, killing multiple people and threatening parts of the state impacted by wildfires earlier this year. And as Fox's Tanya J. Powers reports, more storms are on the way.
Relentless rain continues to pummel California, threatening mudslides and debris flow in areas devastated by January wildfires.
I am concerned about what's happened because there has been a lot of mudslides and stuff in the past, and we were even coming down Canaan, and you could see all of the rocks just coming down.
It comes after a deadly atmospheric river targeted the Golden State over the weekend. Multiple people were killed, including a young girl who was swept into the ocean by a large wave. Forecasters say parts of Southern California picked up nearly a foot of rain, which flooded roads, downed trees, and prompted water rescues.
It lasted for a good 20 minutes without stop and then kept going.
In Los Angeles County, dozens of homes in the Palisades burn scar area were under evacuation orders months after flames flattened communities. Those orders have since been lifted, but with more rain in the forecast, folks aren't taking any chances. Some locals spent the weekend filling sandbags, and emergency officials are urging them to get a plan in place in case they need to leave.
Get your belongings set out first and get that stuff packed up. So if you are in one of those warning areas, you can go and you can make decisions while being calm versus making those decisions under stress.
Further east, forecasters say a rare November heat wave could fuel potentially severe storms across parts of the South this week. In New York, Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
The last U.S. pennies could be worth an absolute fortune. They were minted last week in Philadelphia, and the final 5 could be worth about $5 million each. The last pennies have a special omega symbol to denote their special status, and demand is already sky high among collectors. Pennies have been made in Philadelphia since 1793, but President Donald Trump ordered an end to their minting back in February over high production costs. YouTube offers a credit, Wall Street watches AI, and Domino's launches its first rebrand in 13 years. Fox's CJ Papa has today's business headlines.
If you were part of the YouTube Disney blackout, you'll be receiving a $20 credit. The 15-day dispute was settled over the weekend.
You've gone to sports heaven.
YouTube TV will also be able to offer Disney's new ESPN streaming service at no extra cost to customers. It's expected to be available by the end of next year.
Booyah!
Roughly 10 million households were impacted by the blackout. On Wall Street, all eyes turning to AI darling NVIDIA's earnings. Due on Wednesday, investors putting focus on data center sales and heavy AI spending.
Look at the amount of money that's going into AI, whether it's Anthropic, XAI, and they are gobbling up NVIDIA chips right now.
The Wall Street Journal says Tesla is working to make its American cars without any parts from China. Some components have already been replaced with parts made elsewhere. The change could take a year or two. Execs were already working to switch over some suppliers during the pandemic and are now dealing with fluctuating tariffs. And Domino's updating its brand with a thicker font for its logo and more. Check out this black and gold box for premium menu items. Fast food traffic is down this year, as is demand at restaurants overall, but Domino's sales were up in the recent quarter. CJ Papa, Fox News.
Pop star Meghan Trainor is ready to start her next chapter. A new single out now, a new album on the way, and a new tour in the new year. What fans can expect from all of it coming up. But first, we're stopping by a Frenchish bistro in South Tampa, pairing French fare with wine. And here's a live look outside. Meteorologist Jim Weber will have another check on your forecast when we come back.
Come out and cheer on the U.S. men's national team when they take on Uruguay Tuesday night at 7 at Raymond James Stadium. Seats are still available. Just go to ussoccer.com to buy tickets. And remember to watch the best soccer in the world this summer.
French Bistro. I'm Charlie Belcher coming to you from South Tampa, 3636 Henderson Boulevard. That is where you will find Bar Terroir. And yes, that's how it is pronounced. That the T-E-R-R-O-I-R word can look like many others, but it is Bar Terroir. Let's get into what the heck that means, shall we? Kyle is the general manager of Bar Terroir. Let's start with that French word, terroir. What does that mean, Kyle?
Terroir is kind of a blanket term. So, you know, going into wine, everything that is of the land goes into that, right? So your soil, your atmosphere around it, the culture, the winemaking techniques all kind of create, you know, what goes into that glass.
And that is the terroir.
Yeah, it's kind of like a nice blanket term. So we try to celebrate that idea here by utilizing the food, the cocktails, the wine, the atmosphere. Everything is rooted and has a sense of purpose here.
Nice. Same restaurant group behind Roca.
Yep.
Which I should say Michelin star rated. Roca,
yeah,
as well as Streetlight Taco in South Tampa. Roca is more Tampa Heights. So pretty good track record behind this group, and they decided a neighborhood French bistro was their next project.
Yeah, yeah. So the Taste Pretty Good is the group that kind of founded all this. Yeah.
So tell me about the atmosphere. It's small, it's intimate.
Small, quite, yeah.
Getting larger because you are expanding around the corner.
Yeah, we have 64 seats in-house right now, and I like it because it's immersive, right? You come in, it's kind of unassuming from the outside right now, but once you get in, you kind of dive in and, you know, there's experience to be had here.
But I feel like it does feel very bistro-y. I don't know I don't know why I think that. I don't know how many bistros now. I've never necessarily been in none in the French countryside, but it does feel like that neighborhood bistro feel. Tell everybody about the menu. What are you offering up here? What are you going to be known for?
Yeah, we've got a lot of light bites and some bigger bites, things like that too. I think our menu is definitely very focused on being along the lines of classical French, but also having that Tampa twist. We live in Tampa. Temperature here is definitely quite a bit different than over there. So, I mean, certain things work. Yeah, steak frites is definitely, I think, our most popular dish by far. The French onion soup is outstanding. Steak tartare, shrimp cocktail. And we've just started doing some new things. We've got a delicious Côte de Boeuf. Our beef bourguignon is outstanding as well. And yeah.
Nice. And then I feel like you can't be a French bistro without having to be known for wines. And I noticed the wine cellar over there is cellar. It's not underground, but the wine room over there looks impressive. Wine cocktails an important part of Bar Terroir?
Absolutely. I mean, like when you think about dining out, right? Those are definitely a pivotal part of an experience, right? They add to what we're doing, and we ultimately try to match flavors to flavors, right? And everything is very complementary of each other.
Again, only open for dinner Wednesday through Monday, closed on Tuesdays, and they open at 5 o'clock every evening. Reservations recommended, especially on the weekends. Charlie Belcher, Fox 13 News.
All right, well, this is just a delightful time of the year, right? It's usually sunny, it's usually pleasant.
Yeah, I mean, and last week, I mean, it was nice and low humidity. This week, we're getting
coming back.
Yeah, it's starting to come back a little bit. You step outside, you probably notice it doesn't feel quite as comfortable out there, but it's still beautiful looking weather. Clearwater Beach, 77 degrees, loads of sunshine there. Water temperatures, those are a bit cooler as well because of all the recent cold fronts. And then as you look over downtown Tampa, 79 degrees and partly cloudy skies. Do have that wind out of a northerly direction right now. We have a cold front sitting just to our north, and I wish I could tell you, hey, this front's going to swing through. We're going to drop that humidity and get some nice weather once again from that front. Not going to happen this time around. We still have some decent weather, but we're not really dropping that humidity. You can actually see right about here from Hernando County to the north, clearer skies. It's also where a little bit of that drier air has worked its way in across the northern part of the state. For us, we're really watching that humidity kind of creep back in. 79 degrees right now here in Tampa. Clearwater, you're at 78. St. Petersburg, 76. Sarasota, 79 degrees. Some lower 80s as you head down towards Sebring, currently at 82 degrees. But over the past 24 hours, most areas running a couple of degrees warmer compared to this time yesterday. And the other thing that you really notice is we got spoiled. We got used to that lower dew point, giving us that lower humidity all last week. Very dry beginning part of last week. And you're seeing just a glimpse of it still holding on in Crystal River. But as you go out wider, you do see up across the northern part of the state some much drier air as you work your way up into Tallahassee. They're on the other side of the front. The front's sitting right about here. So it would be nice if that front would swing down over us and we would enjoy that nice low humidity as well. But that front's going to basically wash out over the state, basically fall apart. And so we don't get that push of the drier air working its way in our direction. But it's really cleared things out across a good portion of the southeast as that front has worked its way on towards the east. You can see the clouds and a lot of snow showers, a lot of lake effect snow heading through portions of, say, Pennsylvania up into New York, over into Vermont and New Hampshire, seeing the cloudy skies and some of that snow falling as well. Now, out west, it's been a very busy 5-6 days now of just more of this moisture, this atmospheric river, all this moisture working its way in the form of some heavy rain across central and southern California. As you get into the higher elevations, it is all snow now, and it just continues to pile up. And in fact, over the past 5 days, you see some of these rainfall totals down in and around Los Angeles between about 3 to 5, some cases up towards Santa Barbara, close to 7 inches of rain. This is the type of rain that they would see over many months, and they've seen it in about 4 to 5 days. So that is causing issues. Seems like there's always either a fire or a flood going on in California. This time it is flooding conditions. So there's that front trying to push a little bit further to the south. Turns into a stationary front, then washes out. So we don't really see any changes in our weather. We will see more of this fog around as we go through the next several mornings. That'll burn off, and we'll see these daytime highs right back up into the 80s. Pretty much status quo as we go through the week. No signs of any significant cold fronts bringing us any cooler temperatures. Scattered clouds, warm afternoon, daytime high of 83. Then for tonight, mainly clear skies. Watch for some of these areas of fog late tonight. Overnight low down to 64 degrees, 7-day forecast. No rain in sight, which is another thing. We really need the rain, but no rain over the next 7 days, Linda.
All right, Jim, thanks. Well, pop star Meghan Trainor is starting her next chapter with some fresh music and a 2026 tour on the way. She's already dropped a new single, a music video, and the album will be out in April. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin asked her about the inspiration behind all of this and what fans can expect.
Meghan Trainor's album, Toy With Me, kicks off a bold new era for the singer, blending honesty, confidence, and her signature sass.
It's my album from my 30s, you know? I am 31 and thriving, and I'm also like a mom of 2 young kids, and I'm going through real life stuff like all of us are going through, and just I write down anything I'm feeling in that time period when I'm in the studio. So I felt a lot of anger. I felt sadness and extra love. I felt a lot of love too. And I wrote that in a lot of my songs.
I still don't care. Trainor claps back at online body shamers on the lead single Still Don't Care, setting the tone for the rest of the record.
I got angry, I got feisty on a few songs. You can hear that right away. This song, Still Don't Care, was a lot of my anger and sadness towards reading everything online. They're like, she's unrecognizable, she's not the girl that she was with All By The Bass. And I'm like, that was 11 years ago. I hope I'm better. I hope I've grown up since 19. I'm gonna do me, and I'm gonna love me as I am, because I'm so proud of myself.
You're the best I ever had. She's taking that fire and fun straight to the stage next summer on the Get In Girl Tour, starting June 12th.
I just want to dance. I want to dance and escape and have the best night ever with everyone. I want them to feel like that every night. And that's why we called it Get In Girl, because everyone's welcome, and get in and escape all your real life problems for the night.
No, I still don't care. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Making films is not what I do, it is who I am. And
I also appreciate.
After 4.5 decades in movies, Tom Cruise finally has his Oscar. He was honored last night with an honorary Oscar for his significant impact on films. Also receiving honorary Oscars, actor, choreographer, and producer Debbie Allen, recognized for her lasting impact on dance and performance. Production designer Wynn Thomas, who got his start working on early Spike Lee films and later Malcolm X, A Beautiful Man, and Hidden Figures. And Dolly Parton was honored with the Herschel Humanitarian Award for her charitable work. Well, the big Thanksgiving holiday quickly approaching. Are you responsible for the meal? Coming up, some tips on how to make all that cooking go smoothly. For a holiday typically centered around family and food, all the cooking on Thanksgiving can get in the way of actually enjoying the day. To help home cooks strike a balance, professional chefs are offering their advice on how to create a game plan, cook the perfect bird, and other tips for reducing chaos in your kitchen. Fox's Marianne Rafferty takes a closer look.
With the countdown to Thanksgiving ticking louder, many home cooks are getting ready to whip up some culinary magic. But that can mean missing out on making memories with all the time spent over a hot stove.
When you stay ready, you don't gotta get ready.
To help reduce stress and maximize the celebrations, David Rose, executive chef at Omaha Steaks, recommends organizing your kitchen leading up to the holiday.
First thing they taught me in culinary school is mise en place. What that means is everything in its place. When you have an organized kitchen, you're more efficient.
Prepping materials beforehand can also reduce your Turkey Day responsibilities.
I actually start planning 4 days out, where I'm putting my turkey into the fridge because you want to allow adequate time for it to thaw out. And the day before, I'll start making my gravies, I'll start making my sauces, my glazes, desserts.
Meanwhile, Chef Rose says there's no shame in not cooking everything from scratch, with companies like Omaha Steaks able to fill in the gaps with pre-ordered items.
The beautiful thing here about us is that we have an array of beautiful proteins, pre-made sides, heat and serve items, where you can just focus on the turkey.
And when it comes to preventing your turkey from being overcooked, Chef Rose recommends taking it out before it reaches the minimum internal temperature of 165 degrees.
You want to take it out at 160 and then let it sit, let it rest. Resting is going to redistribute those juices and finish cooking.
After sitting for about 25 minutes, Chef Rose says your turkey should be perfectly cooked. I'm Marianne Rafferty, Fox News.
Well, some people call them trash pandas, and this raccoon certainly lived up to the name. It got stuck in the trash until a good Samaritan came to the rescue. Wait until you see what it took to free the creature. Coming up. Well, here is a look inside one of Rome's most exclusive tourist spots, featured in the classic Audrey Hepburn film Roman Holiday. The Baroque-style Colonna Palace is a private home museum spread over an entire block. It is 250-foot-long Great Hall with spectacular ceiling frescoes along with other paintings and tapestries. Only small groups, 10 at a time, can tour the palace on Friday and Saturday mornings because the family's sitting prince, Don Prospero Colonna, still lives there. Imagine that being your house.
Wow. No, I can't imagine that at all.
Okay, I help you. Hold on. Hold on, I help you.
A Michigan woman is going viral for helping a raccoon out of a sticky situation. Do you think he understood when she said, "I help you"?
No.
No, I mean, either.
He got it.
She spotted it stuck at the bottom of a dumpster and pulled out all of her MacGyver skills to get the raccoon out. First try, a metal trash can. That wasn't tall enough for the animal. And finally, the woman went to her car and pulled out a baby gate. That was pretty smart. The raccoon uses it as a ladder to climb to freedom. The woman says she often dumpster dives around her apartment complex and frequently rescues trapped raccoons. That right there is an interesting hobby. Dumpster diving and rescuing raccoons.
But watching this, it's almost like they were
talking to each
on the
other,
same
right?
level somehow. They're like, yeah, thank you. You know, hey, I'll see you next week. We're still on.
That's a good deed, right? Yeah. Good deed. So.
Yeah. For sure. We're warm. We're getting a little bit more humid out there, and we're not seeing any rain in the forecast. So a bit of an issue there, but we're going to enjoy the weather because it's nice. I mean, it could be a whole lot worse, right? Partly cloudy skies, these daytime highs in the mid-80s. So no sign of any cooler temperatures heading our way. All that cold weather that we had last week, that's pretty much done, and no significant fronts heading in our direction.
I don't know. That looks pretty pleasant to me.
It looks nice. Doesn't feel like we're heading into the holidays. So.
No, that's true. Well, the news keeps going on our Fox Local app and on your phone or smart TV.
Look for more news, weather, and sports beginning at 4 o'clock.
But stick around because Dinner Diaz is next. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
I'm Jeff Philbin. This is Dinner Diaz. Toss that calendar in the trash because today we say it's okay to have turkey, stuffing, and cranberry sauce any time of the year in this delicious dish where we remix it into a recipe for turkey stuffing meatballs, all